where do things go for you all as a company? What are the big next steps? How do you keep growing it? What does then that look like for you from an entrepreneurial sort of like success level?
Yeah, I mean, this is just the start for us. Fundamentally, we believe that all of the way for restaurants to make more money is through predictive analytics, moving from reactive to proactive, right? Almost that money ball. That's the foundation. Where it goes from there, once you have that in place, is how do you get, a fractional CFO, COO that's sitting on top of your data and doing all of the work that you don't want to do? So, no one gets into restaurants to do inventory or manage spreadsheets or, figure out what to order. But unfortunately, it's the cold analytics like that, separate profitable restaurants from not profitable restaurants. So all the people that get into it for the people side, to make great food and delight their customers, right? We want them to focus on that. And we'd like to have a predictive analytics, that Moneyball system sitting on top of their data, just feeding them the answers that they need so that they just don't have to worry about the cold analytics of the business.
And okay, so this is a key point for every entrepreneur that I care deeply about, is essentially the idea of working in the business versus on the business, right? It's a very historical problem.
Well put. Yeah.
And this is, there are a number of books that have come out about this forever. If everyone starts a business, they're all excited. And next thing you know, they're not baking the pies anymore that they care about. They're dealing with how to hire people and fire people and order inventory and keep a store working. And it's all the other things. How does a founder, is it about delegation? Is it about finding better technology? What is it about so you can get back to the thing that you love and that you are good at?
From the vantage point of as a technology company or from a restaurant perspective?
Arguably, I think I don't think they're actually all that different, arguably. But let me know what you think.
I don't either, actually. For me, and this is probably a bias having come from the restaurant world, I think it's all about the people. How do I get great people to buy into the same vision and get them on the team? I think one of the biggest flaws I have is actually ended up building a habit or a strength of mine. And I always think things are going to be easier than they are and that I can do them. I get about halfway through and realize I can't do this. This is way too hard. And then I go find somebody that's way smarter than me, that can do it way better than me, and bring them in to help me finish it.
What's that pain point? That's the right mindset that I actually agree with. When does that pain become so high that you think it's worthwhile to spend money to offload it and delegate that thing away that you're not good at and that you don't enjoy?
And then another one I give OSA credit for, and this is from a programming perspective. I always wanted to build product. And, it's ironic, but the engineers are always like, no, we're not going to build that. Like, do it manually. And it just seemed ironic that the people that actually can build it were telling you to go do it manually. But it's probably been one of the greatest practices that I've, started to do. And that is, I do things manually until there's nothing else to figure out, and it's just a waste of time that I'm doing every day. For instance, we do an outbound analytics report every morning, and that is, I take a bunch of our CRM data, I feed it into AI, I ask a few questions, I put together a report, I send it to the team every morning. I did that myself over and over again every day for the last 3 weeks. Yesterday, I turned it over to another individual to do, right? And so I think that's the right mentality there. It's not about the pain, it's about almost the time and energy you're putting into it.
So I agree, Tony. What you just described is something that I call Walter's Rule of 10. I call it that because my very first company, my co-founder was an amazing engineer, early Googler. And of course, I'm this, I'm a sort of product business guy. And I'm like, you can build anything, let's go build it. And he was like, no, Adam, his name is Walter. I'm not going to go build anything until you've done it manually 10 times and prove to me that there is a real business case for it.
Is this like 101 in software engineering school? They're like, hey guys, the first lesson we're going to teach you is people are going to ask you to do things. Just tell them no. They got to do it manually 10 times. They'll appreciate you so much more.
It must be or something, but because it was definitely like what happened. And I love that. It's a really important rule. And I try to tell my team the same thing nowadays. With that said, do you think AI changes that a bit? Like when you and I can go automate anything today, I can go vibe code essentially anything that I want and anything that I can imagine within an hour or two. Is that a different world than it used to be?
Okay, this is Adam. Great question. It's something that I've thought a lot about because I know just enough programming to be dangerous. And now I've got AI, so I can just build anything I want. I think it becomes even more important. Because I found of the dozen or so tools that I've built vibe coding, that only 3 or 4 of them have stuck around. And it's the things that I've ended up using day in and day out that have gotten better. And ultimately we go productize. But it's, when I say manually, maybe the definition of manual changes, but it's not I've got an idea, the team should go run with this idea because it's so much easier to implement. It's how can I use AI to manually do it myself 10 times before we do that. Otherwise, it's just so much stuff you're generating that most of it doesn't even get used, and eventually it's just noise.